It's a light heavyweight showdown in the Apex. Dan Tom here with MMA Junkie to help you break down the main event for UFC on ESPN 36 between Jan Blachowicz and Aleksander Rakic. Blachowicz, who of course is the former UFC light heavyweight champion, beat names like Dominic Reyes, beat Israel Adesanya, who moved up for that fight. Of course, dropped the title last year to the great Glover Teixeira. No shame there, but Blachowicz is going to be looking to bounce back when he meets Rakic, who, outside of a lone split decision loss, has been unblemished as far as inside the octagon goes. And since that, one loss to Volkan Oezdemir, he's put together two subsequent wins against Thiago Santos and Anthony Smith, two former title challengers, as he attempts to add a former champion to his resume this Saturday. At the time of this video, the odds makers and public are siding with Rakic in the neighborhood of -200, with the former champ Blachowicz come back on that underdog in the neighborhood of +150 via Tipico Sportsbook. Now, the opening line, which is a little bit tighter, or the line movement subsequently, well, neither of which surprised me. Usually we see the former champ fresh off of a defeat, he'll get a bit of a love, a little bit of a public bump. And I'm sure Blachowicz is getting plenty of deserved love from the fans, but as far as the betting line goes, you got the younger man, as they typically are with betting trends, favored. But it's not just age that determines it, nor should it determine it for your analysis. Stylistically, there's some interesting things here. I think that cage positioning is going to be big, especially in the small cage. Blachowicz tends to put himself with his back to the cage, of course, when he's not using his Blachowicz Blitz, the Blocko Blitz, if you will, but he likes to counter and kind of put his back to the cage. Now, the countering games I think is going to work great, but also make this pace a bit slower for this fight. But I think that Blachowicz's potential to really aim for the body and legs could perhaps open up, even audit to a certain extent, Rakic's defenses there. So a lot of good things going for Blachowicz, but if he can't get it done early or put a meaningful dent, I suspect that his cage positioning in the smaller cage will force this into a clinch fight, where I see Rakic, kind of wrestling there. He's got some underrated wrestling, can kind of chain off from a snatch single, can get doubles against the fence, even just opportunistic scrambles will hold top position there. I think he's going to edge this fight out. I think it goes long, but it's not a very confident fight as far as the outcome goes. Both guys are tough to put out, but Blachowicz, he looked like he kind of hurt his neck, or it was a bit sore when Glover Teixeira was can opening him. Got a quick tap. Blachowicz did have to pull out of this fight, initially, as this was supposed to go down at an earlier date. But I don't want to put too much into that. So many of these fighters go into their fights injured, and a lot of them win, folks. But these are just things that I'm seeing. So for that, I'm going to go with Rakic by decision. For more details as well as results this weekend, keep it locked to MMAJunkie.com.